Hi everybody, good morning. I hope everybody's doing really great. I'm doing really great. And it's the beginning of Memorial Day weekend. This is when we celebrate the people who have given their lives in defense of our country. And I hope if you are in America and watching this, you take a moment to thank a veteran or thank someone who's served our country. I know that I believe Russian tanks and we'd be speaking Chinese if it weren't for our military, and so I think we should all thank them for their service, especially remember those that made the ultimate sacrifice. So with that in mind, let's answer some questions this morning, okay? Okay, so the first question is from Robin. She says, as I work on perfecting my skills as an artist, I think about how I will network with my local community during these times of social distancing. There's an upcoming event where I plan to give out gifts of hope and calm. Do you have any other suggestions for networking locally during these times of social distancing in New York? You know, Robin, I love you, but I'm the wrong person to ask that question because I'm not a networking kind of guy in terms of events. I go to trade shows. I believe in trade shows and I believe in an opportunity to meet people. I think if you go to business networking events, which don't occur right now, you have an opportunity to meet people. But in terms of social events, I just don't know. And so rarely am I caught without words, but I have no answers for you on this question. All right, if I think of something, I'll message you directly. The next question from Quan. They ask, is it necessary and or does it help to share your basic numbers such as overhead fixed costs with managing staff? The directors of our child care center are in charge of billing all of our clients, but they don't fully understand the cash flow. Do I share with them the amount it takes to break even, to be profitable, or do I just give them the number of enrollment required for those metrics? So I do have something to say about this. So this is a principle of leadership that everyone should embrace no matter what business you're in. People support what they help create. 20 years ago, most small businesses had an autocratic leadership. That meant that the owner of the business or the CEO of the business made the decisions and everybody marched in tune. But then they began discovering, business schools and businesses alike, that if we would share with our people that we were working with, what we were doing, and we would build consensus among them before we implemented, that we would get better support, better employment engagement, and that we would do a better job. We'd create a better team and a better culture for our companies. And so, yes, I think you should share everything you possibly can with your employees. Now, a survey was done by Chally of 397,000 employees. That's almost 400,000 people. And they were asked what was the most important things to them in the job. And number 5 on the list was compensation. Hard to believe, right? Number 1 was recognition, appreciation for what they did. You know, I don't think we appreciate our employees enough. We don't thank them enough, and we don't tell them that we're glad they're part of the team enough. And I try to do that every chance I get, and you should try to do it every chance you get. Don't say, oh, but they never do anything I appreciate. Find a way to appreciate them or find a new employee, okay? It's just that simple. You know, if in the NFL or the baseball league, National Baseball League, or in any professional sport, if someone isn't doing their job, they are replaced. And it's a way of life. But for some reason, in the corporate world, we think that we have to put up with people who continually don't do what we ask them to do. That's not true. So the second thing that employees said that they wanted was they wanted to know where the boat was going. They wanted to see a vision for the company. They wanted to feel part of that vision, like they were helping. And so think of your company as a boat. When you're out on the water, if there's a problem, everybody rushes to save the problem because their survival is dependent upon it. It's the same way in a company. And so as we build our companies and we build our teams, we have to include them in as much as possible. Now, do they need to see a detailed financial report? As you get bigger, maybe not. But as you're building your business, I think that's valuable to show them, and it's valuable to help them understand where the expenses are in the business, what it costs you to run the business, and then how the business makes a profit. Okay, hope that helps. Now, the next question is from Marcus. And Marcus said this: I have a question about acquiring a business. I've worked in the area of communications for the better part of a decade. I have done everything in the industry except sales. I expressed an interest in owning a communications station, and he urged me to inquire with a businessman in my hometown about his succession plan, whether or not he will be passing the business to his family or not. I was told if he was interested that he would help me obtain funding for the business, in which I would start a group of stations throughout a designated area. Any tips on how I can initiate this? Okay, so you want to acquire a business. You've never met that individual. So I don't know how you know you want to acquire that business. You don't have a price, you don't know if it's for sale, and you don't know the person who owns the business. So you're starting sort of behind the 8 ball here. Most of the time you would get an introduction, or you would know that that business was going to be offered to the general public. So the first thing I would do is I would send an email to that individual asking for a phone appointment. And especially in these times of social distancing, there's no reason to meet with him in person to begin with. But I think you could send him an email and say something like, Bill, my name is Tom. I've been in the communications business my whole life. I'd like an opportunity to meet you at some time. Could we schedule a 10 or 15 minute phone call to introduce ourselves? And I would send it, it's called a blind email. You're not telling him the real purpose of what you want. What you're doing is suggesting that you get an appointment. If he doesn't respond to that, then you can be a little more specific in the next email. You might say, I represent a group of people who are interested in acquiring businesses like yours. Could we schedule a brief call to discuss what you plan to do with your business? But anyway, if he doesn't respond by email, I think you're just whistling Dixie. You can go one more step. You can call him on the phone after that second email and see if you can actually get him on the phone. But you know, the truth of the matter is there's so many businesses for sale in America that you don't have to fight and struggle to get this particular one. And in your question, you indicate you think you would acquire a group of stations across an area, then go to one that might be a little easier or put more into your pipeline so that you have a better chance of success, okay? It's a lot of fun to buy a business. The next question is, I work in a family business. This is from Roland. Roland, hi, good morning. I work in a family business where my father has had the business for a long time. I'm in my 20s and just started working in the family business. I'm looking for resources and advice on how I can influence my father to be open to new ideas I bring to the company so we can evolve and grow. How can I approach him? How can I create that working relationship where he will trust me more to do things I think can grow the company? Well, I don't have much information here to really answer a question thoroughly, but in general, you're a young person, you go to work in the family business, your father sees you as a boy who fell off his bicycle. He sees you as a boy who got in trouble at school. He sees you as a boy who made less than straight A's in school. He sees you as a boy who had all the failures that he is familiar with. Unlike other employers who don't see your complete history, he does. And so every parent has a hard time evolving, especially a driver who's running a business, evolving to seeing their child as an equal or seeing their child as an adult even. And so this is the difficulty in family businesses. And there's already a dynamic between you and your father that exists that you're not ever going to change, or very moderately change probably because of the history, the 20-year history you have with him. But as in all things, when you're trying to make a change, you know, nothing will change unless your father recognizes that there's an issue. And so you're going to have to just ask him to have a meeting. And I would approach the meeting like this. You know, Dad, let me ask you this. What do you see as my role in this business? what do you see as what I can contribute to this business? And I'd write these questions out, be there with him, be an active listener, write the answers down that he gives you. And that may seem awkward, but you're going to have to leave your comfort zone, because stay in your comfort zone and get what you want. And I would ask him where he sees you evolving in the business this year, in 5 years, in 10 years, and where he sees the business going to accomplish, and his vision. Many times a father wouldn't share his vision for the business with his son, even if his son's working in the business. But you need to know what the vision is. And then only after you've asked him lots of questions and you've listened, do you present any kind of a case for yourself whatsoever. The case you're trying to present for yourself is a plan where you can evolve into more responsibility in the business. And then you want to talk to him about what you need to do, put it in his perspective, what you need to do in order to evolve into that more responsible role in the business. And then once you do that, I think you'll have begun laying the groundwork for this kind of approach. I also think employees get reviews. Some get monthly reviews, some get quarterly reviews, some get annual reviews. But I think that I would suggest with him that you meet quarterly and he gives you an honest, open review of how you're progressing. And only with this open communication between you and your dad are you ever going to get what you want. And plus, it'll make the culture in the business a lot better. Because right now, if there are other employees in the business, they're saying, well, he's probably just his son. Well, you know, his son was born with the Lucky Silver Spoon Club. You know, silver spoon in your mouth. He was born in the Lucky Silver Spoon. Gets the business. And you don't want that. That's counter, productive in a culture. So you have to worry about it from that perspective, what the other employees see as you being handed it. And I'm sure he's fighting that too. So all those things need to be put on the table and discussed with your dad. And then if you I think you'll find that you'll have a much better relationship with him. Okay, I hope that helps. Zach asked this question. Is it okay to ask potential customers what their budget is for projects? I offer commercial and residential security products such as security systems and camera. I'm going to be honest, our cameras and security systems are not the cheapest on the market. So I've never had a company where I sold the cheapest product. I have never been the least provider for the product. And so I think there's a couple of things you need to do here. One, I wouldn't worry so much about if the person can't afford it, you shouldn't be talking to them anyway. But what you're really talking about is a competitive situation. And so the competitive situation is that you have a product, somebody else has a product, and your product is more expensive, at least on the front end. So I would craft a sales talk with my customer that says, I am the low-cost provider. I am not the cheapest entry price, but I am the provider. You see, so many things go into the cost of a product besides the entry price. Customer service, the quality of the product, the quality of the service going forward. And so you can craft this kind of a talk and it will work. I've done it with lots and lots of businesses, both my own businesses and businesses that I've been coaching. And you just look at all of why you justify offering a higher price and why the customer would want that. Now, in Pro Code Sales, the videos that then you can go to those and see the price objection. It's a specific tape in a specific module in there, and you can see exactly how to craft that answer. It's really just the competitive price objection, and you just need to professionalize your answer to it. Now, back to which was, well, I just want to ask them what their budget is before I get started, So think about everything you've bought. Nobody says to you, what's your price range when you walk in to look at jeans? Nobody on the car lot is going to say to you, is this in your budget? They're going to try to get you to buy a car that is bigger than your budget, more expensive than your budget. And if a car dealer price range are you looking for? Whatever price I give them, they would try to sell me a little bit more expensive car if they were any good. And so the point is, I say the point is a lot, but the point is that, you have to put a value on your product. What I see so many people doing is they get into a trap. They have a higher priced product and they let the competitive situation be determined on price. So if you knew that a Kia was $10,000 and a Mercedes was $20,000 and you didn't see any difference between the products, you'd pay $10,000 for the Kia. But because you see a difference in the product, you're willing to pay $20,000 for the Mercedes. And it's the same rationale in your product. You have to help the prospect see that there is a value beyond the price in determining their security system. And I think that would be easy to do, but it needs to be crafted, be scripted, it needs to be professional, and it needs to be delivered enthusiastically. Okay? So I hope that helps. John Baptiste says, I have a mobile detailing business which is doing very well during the pandemic. I was recently approached by a customer who wanted to partner up and bring the business to a neighborhood where he knows people who will pay for the service I provided. He offers a 50-50 split between us. He said he would do marketing, a website, a portal for clients to make appointments, and the whole 9 yards. I would make sure that the work is being done and that the cars get detailed and washed. Would you partner up with someone like this? Well, I'm always suspicious of partners who want to help you promote your business. It's your business. And then they, at the same time that they're helping you promote their business, they want the lion's share of the profit. So when you say 50-50, I don't know whether you mean you take all the expenses of detailing out and then you split it, or whether you split it on a revenue basis where you pay all the expenses and he still gets that comes in. So the split seems a little rich to me since you're the one doing the work. You can hire somebody to do the marketing. You can hire somebody to do the website. You can hire somebody to set you up like that, and it's a one-time price, not an ongoing partnership. So that's the way I would approach those services. But as far as referrals are concerned, if he's going to give you referrals, then I would give him a very generous part, but I wouldn't give him 50%. No salesperson, I got cut off for a second. No salesperson is going to earn 50% of the commission, 50% of the revenue on any product. So that split is too rich, all right? And if you want to direct message me, I can get into a discussion with you about what might be better and not take everybody's time this morning, okay? Thank you, John Baptiste. That's a good question. This is from Lauren Feldman. I'm a real estate agent and interior designer. I know I want to build my own brokerage and be the brand that other agents join, and I help them. If you were going to develop a plan to make this happen, how would you do it? So I coach real estate people. I've been coaching real estate people for 10 years, and I've had a bunch of successes. I've had 2 of the realtors that I've coached who've grown their business to their earnings were over $500,000 annually. So I understand how to build a real estate business, but it's the same way you build every business, right? You get a system, a method that works, and then you duplicate that method and then as you do that, you hire in talent to take off your plate what somebody else can do better, or hire people to take off your plate something that is not a good use of your time. So typically a realtor builds their business, they get so busy, they have their own administrative assistant. They have an administrative assistant, and then as they build their business, they hire a buyer's or a seller's agent. The buyer's agent would be somebody that took down to the listings, and the seller's agent would be somebody who would take property that you and your company had listed. But you just have to have a plan, and you have to have a system. And again, I can help you do that. You could hire me to do that. But at the same time, I think that you there's plenty of resources online that will help you answer that question. But from 40,000 feet, that's what you have to do. You have to get a system, then you have to duplicate the system, and then you have to hire talent to. Okay, I'm back. I'm having storms, and I imagine that the storms are knocking my internet out because it says I have 4 bars, and I also have a really strong Wi-Fi network here in my home office. Vanessa asks, I am looking to potentially hire my first salesperson so I can begin growing my advertising agency. How long should I expect that it would take to recruit a salesperson, onboard them, and have them begin selling? And what are some things I need to do as a company to be prepared for bringing that person on board? So Vanessa, the simplest answer to that is you should just hire me, whether it's for a month or 2 months or whatever, to get your system in place, and I'll just save you a lot of time. But you're going to have to run an ad or network to get the salesperson. That's going to take 2 weeks to a month. Then you're going to have to let them give notice wherever else they're working. It's going to be 2 weeks. And then you're going to have an onboarding system where you give them a prospect list, you give them a phone approach, you give them the answers to objections, you give them a sales talk, and email me. I'll send you a checklist for a sales system in a company, and you can begin working on it, sell that list, or you can schedule a call with me and we can talk about the potential of working together. But hiring a salesperson is not easy, and most people fail at it. They don't have a system for it. And again, you can get a lot of that in ProCode Sales that Sean has provided for our group. And I think that you should do all of that before you consider hiring a salesperson. It's an investment, and you might as well maximize your investment. Okay, good. Last question. Ali, hi Ali. I want to grow $1 million business. I'm close to 6 figures now. Question 1: when scaling from 6 to 7 and then 7 to 8, what are the key areas for me to focus on as a business owner? And I know I need to build out a scalable sales and marketing process, but I've never done that before. How do I do it, and when I don't know how? Well, of course, you get mentors. You get Sean to help you, you get me to help you, get the other mentors in the group to help you. We'd be glad to help you. But if you have a business that's doing $100,000 now, you're in a trap. You're maintaining your existing business and you don't have time to do proactive sales efforts. So you either have to, as I said before, delegate those non-sales efforts to somebody else, or you have to hire. And honestly, at your level, it's better for you to be the salesperson and delegate the administration and the customer service, the operations, and the accounting to other people, because the CEO is always going to be, the founder is always going to be the best salesperson that the company has. But you need to be a salesperson, and you know how to do it professionally. So the first thing I'd do is I would watch all the ProCode Sales videos that Sean and I did. And the other thing is I had a mentor, a coach, somebody who was going to help me build out my sales system so that I didn't waste a lot of my money, and worse, waste a lot of my time. Okay? So guys, this morning I hope I helped, and I didn't mean to be such a sales talk for me, but lots of these questions are what I'm doing for entrepreneurs right now, and I'd be glad to help you if you just reach out. I'll help you informally, or we can talk about a more formal relationship as well. So anyway, thanks so much this morning, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and I'll